A young gorilla trembled with fear, its small body trapped in the tight coils of a massive anaconda. Every muscle of the snake seemed to tighten inch by inch, threatening to crush the fragile little gorilla. Dust swirled around them as it struggled helplessly on an old cracked road cutting through the jungle. From the nearby trees, the mother gorilla's roar tore through the calm morning. It wasn't anger, it was pure, heart-stopping panic. She burst through the undergrowth, a force of nature fueled by one single goal: protect her baby. The anaconda, sensing the new threat, raised its heavy head. Its black eyes locked onto the approaching silverback. A forked tongue flicked the air, hissing aggressively as if daring the mother to come closer. The jungle seemed to hold its breath as these two giants sized each other up. With a roar that shook the ground, the mother slammed her fists into the earth. The sound echoed like thunder, a primal warning to the deadly predator before her. The line was drawn. The day had begun quietly. In a sunlit clearing within a low-grass acacia forest, a family of gorillas went about their morning routine. Warm sunlight streamed through the trees, painting golden patterns on the forest floor. The air was alive with the gentle hum of insects, distant bird calls, and soft grunts from the troop. Among them was a young gorilla, barely 2 years old, full of boundless energy and insatiable curiosity. His dark eyes sparkled at every new sight and sound. While the adults foraged for tender shoots and groomed each other in quiet contentment, he bounced from one discovery to the next. A fallen log became a throne. A twisted vine became a swing. Every moment was an adventure waiting to unfold. He chased a bright blue butterfly, pawing at it clumsily as it fluttered just out of reach. The delicate creature danced through shafts of sunlight, leading him on a merry chase. His tiny fingers grasped at air, his face showing pure determination mixed with innocent delight. His mother watched from a short distance, a majestic silverback radiating strength and wisdom. Her presence was commanding yet gentle. Her gaze was calm but vigilant, letting her child explore the world while staying ready to protect him from any danger. She understood the importance of letting him learn, but her maternal instincts never rested. Every few moments, her eyes would find him, checking, always checking. The butterfly led him farther from the troop, weaving between trees and bushes until they reached an old road that cut through their territory. The abandoned human path had been reclaimed by grass and weeds, but patches of cracked asphalt still remained. To the young gorilla, it was just another part of the world to explore. The cracked surface shimmered under the morning sun, hiding the danger waiting there.
The road was a deceptive threshold between safety and the unknown, a boundary he didn't understand. His mother noticed his distance from the group and began moving toward him, her movements deliberate and watchful. But she wasn't alarmed yet. This was still within the familiar territory they knew well, or so she thought. As the young gorilla stepped fully onto the road, his attention still fixed on the dancing butterfly, disaster struck. From the tall grass bordering the asphalt, the anaconda lunged without warning. Its strike was silent, fast, and utterly devastating. The massive snake had been basking in the warmth of the road's edge, and the small gorilla had stumbled directly into its hunting zone. Before he could react, the snake's powerful coils wrapped around him with terrifying speed. His playful squeaks became screams of terror that pierced the morning air. The butterfly forgotten, his world had become nothing but crushing pressure and primal fear. The mother's head snapped up at the first cry, the sound every parent dreads. Alarm replaced her usual calm in an instant. Her soft expression hardened into fierce determination. Without hesitation, she charged through the foliage, a living wall of muscle and rage intent on rescuing her child. Branches snapped, leaves scattered, nothing would stand between her and her baby. When she reached the road, the scene before her ignited every protective instinct. The anaconda had wrapped itself around her child 3 times, each coil overlapping the next. The snake was easily 15 feet long and thick as a grown man's thigh. Its scaled body glistened in the sunlight as it constricted with mechanical precision. She grabbed at the coils, her powerful hands trying to pry them loose. But the anaconda's grip was nearly unbreakable. Each time she pulled, it tightened further, a living trap that responded to resistance with increased pressure. The young gorilla's cries were becoming weaker, more desperate. Her roars grew frantic, a mix of fury and fear unlike anything the forest had heard before. She beat the snake's body with her fists, she clawed at its scales, but nothing worked. The predator held firm, its cold reptilian patience matched against her hot mammalian panic. The anaconda raised its head higher, hissing a warning. It had no intention of releasing its meal. The standoff continued, mother against monster, as precious seconds ticked away. Miles away, 2 rangers, Mike and Alex, were driving along the same road on their routine patrol of the reserve. Mike, a weathered man in his mid-50s, with sun-creased skin and knowing eyes, had spent 2 decades working in wildlife conservation. He'd seen it all, or so he thought. Alex, barely 25, with the eager energy of youth, was still learning the harsh realities of nature. As their jeep rounded a bend, they both froze. The vehicle rolled to a stop as they processed the scene before them. Dust was still settling around the desperate tableau. A massive silverback gorilla, a young gorilla wrapped in an anaconda's coils, and a battle for life playing out on cracked asphalt.
Mike's experienced eyes quickly assessed the danger. The mother gorilla was already in a state of extreme distress. The young one's struggles were weakening visibly. Every second counted. Alex, younger and more impulsive, already reached for his door handle. "We have to help!" "Wait!" Mike barked, his hand shooting out to hold Alex back. "Think first. We need a plan." "It's killing him!" Alex protested, his voice rising with urgency. "I know," Mike replied, his tone firm but not unkind. He nodded toward the mother gorilla. "But look at her. She sees us as threats, not helpers. One wrong move and we're dead before we get close to that snake." His words rang true. A silverback defending her child possessed unimaginable strength. With a single blow, she could shatter bones. Any misstep, any perceived threat, and they would become additional problems rather than solutions. They needed her to understand they were here to help, not harm. Seconds passed like hours. The young gorilla's struggles weakened further. His chest rose and fell in shallow, desperate breaths. The ticking clock was measured in heartbeats, and time was running out. Mike watched the mother's movements, her desperation, her failing attempts to free her child. An idea formed. "Grab the poles," he finally said, making the call. "Now." They pulled 2 long poles from the back of the Jeep, tools meant for clearing brush and checking undergrowth. Today, they would serve a different purpose. Today, they were weapons of mercy. Moving carefully, they avoided direct confrontation with the mother. They approached in a wide arc, giving her space, keeping their movements slow and deliberate. She noticed them immediately, roaring at the new threat while still gripping her child, trying to pull him free. "Listen to me," Mike said, quietly but firmly. "This is it. We get one chance. Alex, I need you to distract the snake. Draw its attention to the tail end. I'll work on getting leverage near the head." "Got it," Alex replied, his voice steadier now, focused. "And Alex, don't get bit. These snakes aren't venomous, but those teeth will tear you apart." Alex jabbed his pole at the snake's tail, striking hard enough to get its attention. The anaconda's head swiveled, its tongue flicking rapidly, trying to locate this new threat. Mike used the distraction to slide his pole into a small space between a coil and the young gorilla's ribs. "Now!" Mike shouted. He pressed with all his strength, using the leverage to pry the coil outward. The snake thrashed violently, its massive body whipping side to side. Its head snapped toward Mike, jaws opening wide, revealing rows of backward curved teeth. It struck, missing Mike's leg by inches. Alex continued his assault, striking the snake's body repeatedly, shocking and disorienting it. The mother gorilla, understanding on some instinctive level what was happening, adjusted her grip, pulling when Mike created space. The combined effort was working. With one final coordinated heave, a crucial coil loosened, then another. The pressure released all at once as the snake, overwhelmed and injured, decided survival was more important than a meal. The anaconda unspooled rapidly and retreated into the jungle, leaving a trail of disturbed vegetation in its wake. Silence fell. The immediate danger was gone, but the young gorilla lay limp on the asphalt, his small chest barely moving. The mother rushed to him, her massive hands impossibly gentle as she nudged him. No response. Her mournful rumbles replaced the earlier roars, a raw cry of grief that seemed to come from the depths of her soul. She touched his face, his chest, trying to wake him. Mike took a deep breath and stepped forward slowly, hands open and visible, keeping his body language calm and non-threatening. He knelt near the young gorilla, careful not to make any sudden movements. The mother tensed, watching him with eyes that held both suspicion and desperate hope. Then something incredible happened. She looked at Mike, really looked at him, and slowly, carefully, she nudged her child slightly toward him, a gesture of trust that transcended species. Mike felt for a pulse, finding it weak and irregular. Without hesitation, he began gentle chest compressions, careful not to hurt the fragile body. He pulled a cold pack from his medical kit and applied it to the young gorilla's head, trying to reduce any swelling from the constriction. The mother watched, tense but silent, allowing the strange creature to touch her most precious treasure. Then a tiny cough, a ragged breath. The young gorilla's eyes fluttered open. Instantly, the mother scooped him up, holding him close to her chest. Her rumble softened into sounds of relief and joy. But before disappearing into the forest with her child, she paused. She looked back at Mike and Alex. There was no anger in her eyes, no fear, just acknowledgement, a bridge of understanding across species, a silent thank you that needed no words. The rangers watched as mother and child vanished into the jungle, the young gorilla already clinging to her back, safe once more. They stood in silence for a long moment, processing what they had witnessed. Nature's raw violence, yes, but also a miracle born of courage, trust, and empathy. "Did that really just happen?" Alex finally asked. Mike smiled, wiping sweat from his brow. "That it did, son. That it did." This story reminds us that the bond between parent and child transcends species, that compassion is universal, and that sometimes, when we set aside our differences and act with courage and kindness, miracles can happen.